guys, and welcome back to Project Z Garage. Today we're going to be working in my kitchen. And what are we going to be doing? One of the cool upgrades that you could do to any kitchen or pretty much any cupboards or things in your house is installing soft close hinges. Or some people put soft close actuators in on top of their current hinges. But today we are going to be replacing the hinges on our cupboards and replacing them with soft close ones. Let me show you what we have. So, one cool thing is that we looked at the hinges that were currently on the doors right now, and if you're lucky, if it's if your cupboards aren't that old and you can read the information off the hinge, this one right here, if you see, let's see if I can zoom in. Right, come on. There we go. See right there? It has the measurement of the hinge, which is, this one is 1 inch and a quarter. And we can match the type of hinge up. Sometimes the best thing to do is, take one of the doors off, take a hinge off, go to your local hardware store or even go online and you can kind of match them up. You can either check the brands, like this has the brand listed inside of it, and see if they have an option for soft close. These actually have an option that you can add on to these hinges. Let me show you that. So these hinges actually have an option to add on a soft close function. So let me show you what that looks like. So on the actual hinge, so this is the hinge here, and this is the soft close add-on to the hinge. So what this does is it hooks in like that, and this will be on the inside of the door, and your door will be on this part. As it closes, it hits on this piece, and this slowly, it's kind of like a shock, slowly compresses in and lets the door close in. That's one way of doing it. I prefer, let me pull these out. These are the ones I got from Everbuilt. Same size. It's 35 millimeter, 105 degree hinges. This was a value pack. You can get this online or probably any hardware store that's around you. And this is the 1 inch and 1/4, so 1 inch and a quarter. And if you see here, it actually shows you how they attach and kind of the different things of what it does here. Because there is some adjustment to raise or lower the door, and also to bring the door out or in so you can line it up. Because one thing I find that is very difficult with cupboard doors, because as you know, not always are cupboards perfectly square, they're not always perfectly level, and when you put the doors on, sometimes the gaps don't match up. So having this adjustability in the hinge allows you to fine-tune the gaps in the doors, how far it goes in and out, and those things. Also when you open and close the door, because sometimes it might be touching in certain areas and you want to be able to adjust that. I think back in the day you would have to move the holes or adjust like with wedges and things like that to get the hinges to sit properly to where it would fit, where you want it to be. And it would take a lot of time and effort. This is relatively easy. This is a direct replacement. You really just need a screwdriver. If you're lucky and you have a little electric drill. I have my trusty Milwaukee one here. It's a 12 volt. This helps make the whole process go a little faster. But just a regular Phillips screwdriver works great. Now, let me just show you the differences. I'm going to put you guys behind me and we'll work on one of the doors here so you guys can see how this works and what we're hoping to achieve once replacing the hinges. Okay, so we're full level now, and we're going to be working on these doors here and showing how the hinge works and how the soft close works. So this is a hinge without the soft close. So normally you would just throw it and it makes a lot of noise. This is the one that we replaced the soft close hinges on, or not replaced the soft close, but we replaced with soft close hinges. And now if you try to slam the door, it slowly closes it in, which is really nice. It's quiet, especially if you get up early and there's other people in the house. The last thing you want to hear is this making that all over the place. So let's start working on this one, and let me reposition you so you can see what we're doing. The cool thing about these hinges is really just one screw that holds it onto the, well, one screw per hinge that holds the door onto the frame of the cupboard here. So previously you would have to, the older type of hinges, there would be 2 countersink points in the door that you would have to take 2 screws off each, and it's, you know, in a certain place. It's difficult to raise and lower the door without adjusting those holes or the recesses for the hinge. These, which is a relatively newer door, maybe a couple years old, these hinges actually grab on and squeeze the frame of the door, and it has one screw that's in the center of the hinge that holds the door on. So pretty sure I explained that correctly, but let me bring you down to eye level here and you can see how we're taking it off. Okay guys, so this is the inside of the door here. We have the hinge. So like I was explaining, normally the inside of the cupboard door would be a lot thicker, and you would have a recess which this one side of the hinge would be screwed into, and that would give you the ability for this hinge to operate properly. These newer hinges actually like go around this frame part of the door and kind of squeezes it as you screw it in. As you can see, it has some adjustment screws like I was explaining about before, and there's one screw in the middle on each of these hinges that actually holds the door on. So they're really quick to come off. You could take off probably all these doors relatively fast with a electric screw gun. And you know, we'll take this door off now and put it up on the table so you guys can get a better look, and we'll start working on that. Guys, so now we have the cabinet door on the table here, so it's easier for us to work on. And like I showed you, there's 2 screws here and here, and that's pretty much what it takes to take these things off. It's one screw holding it onto the actual door frame, and real easy if you use your electric gun. As you can see, they're relatively small screws that hold this on. Nothing crazy. And you know, you might have to work them back and forth a little to get them out, because they could be in there. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta get a little leverage here. I don't want to break the door, so let's wiggle it back and forth. It's a very tight pocket there, but you can see there that's how it countersinks into the door with the 2 screws there. We're gonna get a new hinge. Here's our new hinge. You can see the soft close mechanism in there, that when this closes in, it hits that and then it slowly brings the hinge in completely. So let's get this in. Real simple, just line it up. We're going to be reusing the same holes that are in there. It's the exact correct size for this. And for this, you got to be careful. You don't want to use the electric gun. You can to start it, but you got to be careful, because if you go too fast, you can rip the screw out of the wood by torquing it too much. And the last thing you want to do is damage this and damage the door. So that, I prefer using just a Phillips screwdriver to slowly put it in. The screws aren't that long, so it doesn't take a lot of time to get these in. I like to just, don't fully tighten it down too much. Just get them kind of snug. And then once you get both in and snug, you can tighten them down a little bit. Not too crazy. So, perfect. Now let's get this one out. Like I told you, gotta work it back and forth. And it comes out. Let's get another one of these hinges. Put it on, slide it in. Perfect. Get our screws, get them started. And we'll snug them down, and that's pretty much it. There's the 2 screws there that you have to put back in once you level the door. The cool thing about this is that once you put the door on, let me get this little right there. This is what grabs onto the door. The great thing about this is that you can move the door up and down before you tighten it in, and it gives you some adjustability to the door in case it's hanging a little lower, or you know, it's in too much. You can adjust it by the hinge, which is great. Let's put this door back on. We're reusing the same holes. We don't have to drill new holes. Everything is plug and play at this point. We didn't have to drill anything or anything like that. As long as you get the right hinges to match the ones that were on there with the same depth, the same overlay, it should be a relatively easy job to do and very fast. Like, how long did that take us? And let me screw this on and we'll wrap this video up. And it's a cool little upgrade you could do to your doors in your kitchen and other places too, your bathroom, cupboards, even closet doors in your bedroom. If they have the same type of hinges, or if you can just do a search, you could probably find hinges that have that option for you and for the type of doors that you guys have. Let's put this on and then we'll wrap it up. Guys, so as you can see, we screwed in the 2 screws that holds it onto the frame. Get a little closer look. Now, when you close the doors, they both close in nice and soft. Alright guys, so as you can see, quick video, really easy upgrade that you can do to any cupboard door. I'm sure there's a million different options on how to do these soft close doors. I really like the simplicity of this, which is just a straightforward hinge replacement. The soft close is built into the door, unlike the one that I showed you where it's like an add-on to the hinge, or I'm sure there's ones that you can just put on the frame itself. Like if you have older hinges that don't give you the ability to have that soft close feature, you could probably buy just the plunger that screws into the frame of the door, and when the door closes it hits that plunger, and like a shock the plunger slowly moves in and stops the door from slamming. I think it's a really cool feature to install on your doors. As you can see, it's relatively easy. One hand tool. If you have an electric screw gun, that makes it even easier. If you have somebody else to help you, it's like hold the door as you take things off, but I did this by myself and it really wasn't hard, especially seeing that each hinge had one screw that actually hold the door onto the cabinet itself. I think out of 1 out of 10 of how difficult this is maybe a 3, if not lower. If you can, you know, if you know what a Phillips screwdriver is, or a flathead screwdriver, and righty-tighty, lefty-loosey when it comes to hinges and screws, you can get this done. I hope this was informative. I hope you guys thought this was a little bit interesting as far as something that you would think a high-end kitchen would have, and something that you would have to go to someone like a professional to have installed, but you really don't. As long as you can find the correct hinge to work with your setup and it attaches the same way as what you have. I mean, I'm sure there's older doors that there may be a little more difficulty in finding something to work for soft close, but anything within the last, I think, 5 or 6 years that has been installed would have something that would be easily retrofitted to allow you to have that soft close feature. But I know we've done a lot of stuff on about the house, and we're gonna get back to cars soon. The weather's getting a little better now, so there is a bunch of stuff and some new vehicles I want to introduce. So until next time, guys, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll catch you in the next video.